lot of people are saying they are skipping out on this, the Incarnate fusion for the month of June, starting just in 2 days. If you're one of those players, well, you'll be happy to know that people are hyping up another champion who is launching at the same time with her. This is the epic champion that will fuse 4 copies of to fuse that legendary champion. So this is the epic champion. His name is Slixus Stripehide, and he's an epic champion from Void Affinity, and a lot of people are hyping this champion up right now, especially players who do not want to go for the legendary fusion of the Incarnate. They're looking at this champion as one that can pick 1 copy, 2 copies, or even worth getting 3 copies of. Let me find out his skills, abilities, and where maybe a noob to pro account that is not going for this fusion might use this champion. This video might be beneficial to you, so make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more daily raid content. The first one on the A1, this champion attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 15% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. A stun debuff is not a useless one at all. For an epic champion, even if it's a low chance, when you spend books on this A1, it will be a 30% chance of placing stun. That's something you normally see on a legendary champion, right? I just used one of those legendaries in one of the City of Centranos, and they are doing 40% chance to place stun on an A1. So this stun on an A1 from an epic is amazing. I'm already impressed already. And even if it's just 1 enemy you hit, it hits 2 times, remember. Each hit has that chance. So it hits twice to just that enemy. It's almost like a 60% chance where you're trying 30% first time, 30%. You're trying 2 attempts to place that stun. That's an amazing A1 right here from an epic. All right, on the A2, let's see. Now stun can be used every wave content, but against bosses it has no use, of course. So let's see on the A2, attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit will ignore, shield, increase defense, and strengthen buff. That means he's the damage dealer. I thought from the A1 stun, I think he's maybe a support role or something, or a control champion, because he will need accuracy for that A1. But now the A2 is saying he will ignore the enemy's shield, he will ignore the enemy's increased defense they have on themselves, or also ignore strengthening on them. That means he wants to nuke them hard, but it's a single target nuke. It's nice in the arena when the enemies have all these buffs on them to just go ignoring all of them and do maximum damage to them. But on a 3-turn cooldown, on a single target hit, normally you want to ignore their own defense, not just ignore their increased defense and shield, and you normally want to ignore their defense to even nuke them harder. But that's what he does. Each hit also heals this champion by 20% of the damage inflicted. I'm not so impressed with this A2. Blades of Finality is a skill that is supposed to nuke. He hits twice. Each hit will ignore all these buffs. Normally this buff keeps the enemy alive longer, but on a 3-turn cooldown, when booked, a skill that doesn't ignore defense. I'm thinking about a lot of rares. I mean, a lot of epic champions have a similar 1 target hit like this, but they just totally eliminate somebody, maybe even block revive, maybe even ignore defense. This is not looking like on the same level. Damage is based on what? Maybe when it's released in the game we'll be able to find out, but right now I'm not seeing what the damage is based on. Most likely based on attack. Yeah, that's it. Damage will most likely be based on attack. Is it attack type champion? So I'm not liking this A2. Let's see the A3, called Dragon Shuriken. Attacks all enemies before attacking, places a 30% increased crit rate on himself, 30% increased crit rate on him, increased crit damage also on himself. So this is an AoE hit. So this is his main damage dealing ability. So the A2 is just like a supporting role. This is the one he will start the battle with. He's not starting the battle with the A2. Obviously, he will go in there, increase his crit rate, increase his crit damage, and then attack everybody. So this is an AoE skill that will be on a 3-turn cooldown when you spend epic skill tomes on this champion. We're not sure of the multiplier yet, but that will determine whether this skill can hit nuke or not. So I was just trying to see whether he places the increased crit rate or increased crit damage on our allies. No, it's just on himself. This champion skill is so straightforward. Simple A1, simple A2, simple A3. Nothing complicated about it. He's just there for damage and a chance to stun on an A1. And then for the passive, right? Passive increases this champion's crit damage by 10% every time they kill an enemy. Stacks up to a 30% crit damage increase. This stacks will not reset upon death. Why did I have to say that like that? Does that mean other champions who stack up lose their stacks when they die and come back to life? If this champion's blade of finality skill kills an enemy, the next skill they use will ignore 30% of the target's defense. Now we're talking. So maybe you look at the enemy's target enemies, you just look at the enemy's range, and you just look at one of their squishiest champion, ignore their shield, ignore their defense, ignore their strength, and nuke them down. If you kill somebody with this skill, next time it doesn't give you an extra turn. That's kind of sad. The next time you use, well, that's for legendary champions. The next time you use your A3, you will ignore 30% of the target's defense, of all the enemy's defense. That's pretty impressive passive right here. Even if it's not the, well, it depends. Only the blade affinity kills the enemy. That's when he ignores the next skill. Will ignore defense. So if this champion's blade of affinity of finality skill kills an enemy, the next skill they use will ignore 30% of target's defense. So it will all depend on you. If you find no squishy champion on the enemy wave, you probably just want to go in with your A3. But if you find a squishy champion that you're sure you can kill with the A2, you go there and nuke them down before you go in with your A3. Hopefully you can survive an entire one turn and get back to your skill. Even if he gets killed while waiting for the A3 to be used, he can still, be revived and use it and still benefit from this 30% ignore defense that is coming from this passive, because he used blades of finality to kill somebody. So now that I have a better understanding of this champion skill, it feels like it's a normal damage dealer. If you don't yet have legendary champions who do AoE damage for you, single target damage, whatever you're using in the arena, it feels like this champion will be that damage. It's not enemy max HP for bosses. This is obviously not for bosses. Doesn't see like any of his skill will benefit from bosses. This is like for wave content, dungeons, arena, PvP or PvE. It doesn't also seem like this skill will be beneficial in content like the Hydra. It just seems like a general all-round champion. Now, why is it Void Affinity? I thought normally when you see Void Affinity, they have a bunch of debuffs they want to place. The only debuffs he's placing is the A1 stone. So you have to decide whether this champion will be worth building with accuracy, or you just forget about the A1 stone and go full nuking. Forget about the accuracy on him. So you have to decide that depending on the content you're building him for. Obviously for arena, most players would not want to even put accuracy banner right there. They'll just put attack banner and make him nuke even harder. So I'll see. Early game players will definitely use this champion in those type of content if they don't yet have a better nuker. But for end game players, I don't think he will be featuring in any of my end game team. But guess what? For City of Centranos, the Corset City, we always want to look for new champions that can add to the roster to help us beat some difficult stages. Maybe he will feature in one of those stages. We don't know. We'll have to see and find out where he will feature in content like that. Definitely gonna be useful for content like the what do you call this now? Let me open it up quickly. Faction Wars, that's what I'm thinking about. So he's gonna be useful for that Lizardmen faction, who is already easier with a little bit with Razin, and that is obtainable for free. So if you pick this one copy of this champion up, that's why most people are saying make him even +3. Get 3 copies of him to make him a +2 or +3. That will mean that you will nuke harder in any content when you make him a +3 or +4. If you manage to get, well, +3 if you get all the 3 copies, but definitely worth going for that legendary. So if you're asking yourself, should you skip out on this fusion and get 3 to 4 copies of this dude? I tell you, if you can get 3 to 4 copies of this dude, just fuse this fusion. There's no need to get 3 to 4 copies of a champion you will eventually get by pulling void shards. On a normal day, you'll be getting more copies of him. But you see this legendary, even if you're gonna just go for her just to put her in your vault, she will eventually be a faction guardian or a champion that helps you in one stage of the City of Central Corset City. So I feel like she's definitely gonna be worth it. So all that comparison between her and this epic champion is not a fair one at all. You cannot compare a void epic to a legendary champion, even if her skills are trash. So That's what I think about these two champions that are coming into the game. The epic champion who will be used to fuse this new champion, and if you're pulling voids for one of the summoning events, if you're able to obtain him, then you're even home free. I don't know, summoning event definitely will come up, so if you're able to obtain one copy of him, you'll be good to go. All right, I saw his aura is increased attack in arena battles, so definitely trying to make you use this champion in the leader slot in content like the arena. So let's see if he's gonna feature there, or we already early game players already have better nukers. They're fine with their kill. I don't know who wants to build a second damage dealer in the arena. Everybody's waiting for a void champion as their second nuker that will replace their kill in the arena. That's who this is geared for. Hopefully newer players will take full advantage of him, and endgame players will find content to use him in that we are not thinking of right now. All right, one more thing before I end this video. There is a new rare champion. Yes, this fusion has no rares. Yes, so I'm wondering, why is the rare champion being released in addition to this one? I was also shocked too. I thought they'll just give us the epics and he'll be obtainable through fragments during the fusion, but this rare will not be part of the fusion at all. It's not something we can obtain. This one will be dropping in the game. You can open charts and obtain them. Let's find out what indeed twist staff does. And this champion is from the Silver Watchers faction. It's been long since we have good rares in the game. I'm talking about Frozen Banshee, War Maiden, Spirit Host. There are a few rares that are very, very useful in 2024 because they've been useful all the way back then. We're still looking for Raid to add one more rare to the game that will be as useful as those other ones, as useful as a Cold Art, but this is not a void one. This is a Spirit Affinity rare, and this champion on the A1, each hit has a 15% chance of placing 30% decreased defense. That's a small version of decreased defense, and whenever we see that, we're like, that champion is useless because we have another rare that can do the big version of decreased defense. Maybe not on an A1, but on an A3, I think, or A2. Now on the A2, this champion attacks all enemies, fills this champion's stun meter by 5% for each leech debuff on the enemy. Now whenever I see a skill like this that will fill stun meter of a champion by 5%, it means that against the spider, if you spread leech on them and he takes a turn, he will take 2 turns. Whenever I see a champion that can fill his stun meter this fast, they normally are used against wave content where they will just fulfill that condition and get their turn again. So why is it rushing back to his turn? This is on a 3-turn cooldown when booked, but I don't see it as anything special because this skill does not place the leech on it itself. His A1 does not place the leech, his A2 does not place the leech. It's probably going to be his A3. But attacks all enemies. Feels like this is just a normal damage dealing ability that wants to make him get back to his skill again, because just filling your turn meter by 5% is not a skill in itself. It's like, sounds like more of a passive, and then the main damage dealing ability is the ability to just attack one enemy. All right, let's see on the A3, Feasting Shadow attacks all enemies. He has 2 AoEs. That's nice. Has a 50% chance of placing leech, so this is the one that places the leech. He doesn't have to rely on another ally to place it for him before he will benefit from the A2. Ascended skill, when he's ascended, that is, attacks all enemies before attacking, places 25% increased accuracy, the small version of increased accuracy buff on all allies. So before attacking the enemies, he will place this increased accuracy. That means his leech will most likely land because he has increased his own accuracy also by 25%. If you don't have him built with full accuracy requirement, he's going to buff himself up a little bit and your allies before he places that leech. Leech is important in some content, but normally you want it on a champion that has it on an A1. He is coming in with an AoE leech because he wants to benefit from it by doing turn meter and stealing. All right. What else? Also has a 50% chance of placing leech debuff for 2 turns. So the leech is for 1 turn. Has a 50% chance of placing leech debuff for 2 turns. Oh, okay. It's the ascended part is this second part. All right. I don't know how I feel about this. The chance of placing the leech is 75% when booked. It's not like 100% when booked. 75%. Rare books are easy to obtain, so it's not 100% leech. And 3-turn cooldown when booked. Increase accuracy in all battles by 30. So my verdict for this champion, he's just gonna join all the other rares that we use as 3-star chicken. This does not seem like a rare I want to hold on to one copy of. This does not seem like a rare, but like all rares, they always find a place in raid where we seem like they are the only one that can help us in that content. But so I don't know if Sylvan Watchers will be useful in the early stages. AoE stun set doesn't seem like it's a good candidate for it, because all his skills right here is on a 3-turn cooldown, 3-turn cooldown. Alright, that's what I think about this champion in Guild Twist Staff. Welcome to raid. You're gonna be 3-star chicken as usual. But this champion is not one to be used as food, especially now in raid where we're all keeping all our epics that we are obtaining to make them +1, +2, +3, +4 ascended. So this is not a champion you want to use as food. I, on the Noob to Pro, might get 2 copies of this champion. I'm not going to go for 3 or 4 because I'm not going for the fusion. Realistically, by just doing events and tournaments during the fusion, I might be able to get 2 copies of him and making a +1. Is it a champion that is worth getting or building 2 different copies of? I don't think so. By reading his skills, it just seems like a normal champion in raid with no special hidden abilities, just a normal damage dealer who benefits from killing somebody first with his A2, then going in with the A3 and doing bigger damage because he will ignore more defense, and sponsored by his passive. Alright, that's what I think about this new champion coming into raid. Let me know in the comments if you're still going for this fusion. I know other content creators have already talked about her skills. They are even testing her out right now. Go check out their videos so you guys can make an informed decision whether she's worth going for by looking at the playtest they're doing on the test server right now to see whether she's going to be worth it. So far, it's not looking good. People are not hyping her up that much, but you have to decide for yourself whether you want to go for her or you want to take a break and skip out on this one. What do you think about this epic champion Slixus? I don't know how you say his name. And is it worth the hype, or are you going to get 3 copies, or are you just fine with 1? Where are you going to use him? Normal damage dealer or faction war, or just a trash you put in the vault and never bring out again? I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more daily raid content. If you head over to Twitch right now, I might be live after posting this video, just chilling, playing some raid on the Noob to Pro and Headhunters account, doing that artifact announcement, rebuilding some champions, and I'll see you guys over there later, guys.